I have a short that I had several editors edit, and I'm going to review several of them. And some of them have the story kind of mixed around, and some of them aren't edited tightly. And we'll show you what I think a good short is at the end. So let's dive into the first one and review it.
Which one is stronger? If I pull 8 to 8, this would break about 14 kilonewtons. And a quick draw is rated for 22.
All right, so you can see that this audio file right here is not lined up, and it starts talking before you can see my lips moving. That might be an editing style, I don't know, but it's kind of weird for this action to be here and not see what I'm saying. There's this audio file overlap here. That might be just a way somebody's trying to get it tight, but the way I've edited and the way in my instruction video is just cut it tight. So that's kind of just weird. I don't know if that's, I don't personally like it. I don't know if that's like wrong.
Rated for 22 kilonewtons. I'm actually worried about the dog bone.
Will the dog bone resist? And so this person's an international editor. And because we put so much text on the screen, this is why English as a first language is more preferred, because that wording, though I could fix that, isn't what we would say here in America. I just want it to sound like continuity whenever somebody's watching the videos.
Shoot, the dog.
So another thing is rarely do we ever use text on screen that is less than 1 second. And if you hold that on there, you can see that it's 1 second. It just moves a little too fast. Let's show you again.
Dog bone. Shoot, the dog bone broke.
So it does like tell the story, but
Bone broke.
so that's my number, which I don't like.
The rope is strong enough and about.
And maybe this is fast for somebody to edit, but like when I edit the video from scratch, I'll probably either time lapse it or something at the end of this video, but you'll see how I do it.
Basket that it's stronger than the dog bone itself.
Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope. Yeah, I broke the right thing. That's awesome.
At almost 28 kilonewtons, this would have been stronger than any dog bone that I clipped it to. Now when a rope is in a U shape, I get almost double. Double is when I pull straight.
So you can see the A is covering my eye. It's hard to get this much information on the screen without covering the thing I'm trying to show you. They almost had it, but it's covering my face.
To straight. You can get all of your dynamic ropes at hownot2.com.
Here is the next person's edit.
Which one will be stronger?
Wait, what the fuck?
If I pull 8 to 8.
So you can see that is the second test, because the video I showed you already is in the correct order in which it was filmed. Now, what they're trying to do is hook you, I believe, and then you'll stay to be like, what's going on? That's not how shorts work. At least for me, this would be a great strategy for a long, but you're kind of confused why you saw that, then you see the next one.
Stronger.
Wait, what the fuck?
If I pull 8 to 8, this would break about 14 kilonewtons. Now when I do put things in a
And then there's what I call an eternity.
Kilonewtons.
Like that section right there is called an eternity. I would cut that out.
Now when I do put things in a U shape, I almost get double than if I pull straight to straight.
Another eternity. And let me show you before.
Straight to straight. And a quick draw is
and with it cut out, and with that one cut out.
Straight to straight. And a quick draw is rated for 22 kilonewtons.
And you can see, like, I'm done talking. That should be gone. And this test is kind of long, right? So this could either be sped up.
22 kilonewtons.
I don't know what that's doing there. I don't need audio files doing, I'm just going to get rid of this. I don't need audio blending in the edits that I do.
Shoot, the dog bone broke.
So right there is another several eternities. Right there is
shoot, the dog bone broke.
So one option is that audio is good, this audio clip right here, but it could be definitely brought maybe
Shoot.
to right there and then shorten this whole test. The test is over.
Shoot, the dog bone broke.
And it could just be dropped down like that.
Shoot, the dog bone broke.
So like that concept is already being said while you're watching it. By the time your brain registers all of it, you have both pieces of information and it's like way faster.
That's my number.
This is more technical, and this is part of the storytelling that's complicated of like, I'll never be able to delegate this. If we focus on the number of the dog bone, it distracts from the thing we're trying to test. Is the rope stronger than the quick draw? I don't feel like this, that specifically was intended to trick people. It shouldn't be in there.
The dog bone broke. That rope was stronger than the quick draw.
That's the conclusion. The rope is stronger than the quick draw. So
now I made it beefy.
And that would be an audio dead spot, right? Same with the text there. So we'll clean that up.
That rope was stronger than the quick draw. Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope. Now I made it beefy.
Now I made it beefy. That's fine. Smack the rope, little story there. No problem. Let's get to the break test. So that text is fine.
Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope.
Now, that is one option is right there is to cut the text off.
The rope.
It kind of makes the break test more like, wow.
That's awesome.
I would say that audio can go there and that can get shortened. You can see like the theme here is just squish it.
That's awesome. At almost 28. That's awesome.
I said the thing. Cut it off. I don't know what this is.
At almost 28 kilonewtons, this would have been stronger than any dog bone that I clipped it to. You can get all of your dynamic ropes at hownotto.com.
So you can see how we've already, so I'm not going to keep this as a final version, but you see how this clip right here is shown again, right? It's shown twice in the same short. That doesn't do as well in shorts. It's okay in a long if you have two clips that are similar as long as they're minutes apart.
Which one will be stronger?
It doesn't, the other problem is this nuance of pulling straight versus a basket. You can see my hand is covering the break test already. This is at the end. This is after I've hooked you with break tests and you stuck around. That should go at the end. So that's from the storytelling perspective. This is wordy. We'll get into later what maybe it could be less. This is good. Dynamic rope versus quick draws. That was part of the title that's handed to an editor before they edit. Quick draw 22. That does help people. It's complicated. All right, quick draw broke first. Rope wins. Let's see how far the rope can go. That's not concise or helpful. Just so people know what the objective is in this case, and is covering the rope. So
now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope.
And if you really wanted to like throw an arrow pointing to the rope to really like draw the eye to what we want them to learn, that's an option.
That's awesome.
It does not need text there, so that's good.
At almost 28 kilonewtons, this would have been stronger than any dog bone that I clipped it to. You can get all of your dynamic ropes at hownotto.com.
This is good. It's the conclusion. But so those are my critiques for that one. Here is the third and final edit that I have for this. And this one has a booby trap. That's a blank spot at the beginning. Now, the way I render these shorts is I use in and out and I render off of that. But if I rendered just the whole sequence, because it's the only thing on this sequence, then I would have had a black frame at the beginning. So I would say if that's the case, we would want this tight.
If I pull 8 to 8, this would break about
I will look at the text after. I'm going to probably focus on if it's concise first.
14 kilonewtons. And a quick draw is rated.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eternities in there. An eternity is 16th of a second.
Newton. And a quick draw is rated for 22 kilonewtons.
That's where you'd cut it off. You can see how much drag. And if I let it play, you'll see how it feels.
Kilonewtons. Now, if I clip this in a basket shape where this is the climber and this is the blayer, which one will be stronger? I'm actually worried about the dog bone.
I think it's interesting to say I'm worried about the dog bone. That's fine. But you can just click that, drag it over that, and I don't know why this is tall. There we go. You could...
I'm actually worried about the dog bone. I'm actually worried about the dog bone.
Right? So there's a spot in here that doesn't need to be in there. I hesitated to say it. So you could do that. You could bring that real low. You could drag that down, whatever. The audio's not that important.
I'm actually worried about the dog bone.
Shoot, the dog bone broke.
That's my number, which I don't like.
The rope one and the...
So I would, same thing. That doesn't need to be there.
Shoot, the dog bone broke. Rope one and the dog bone lost.
I would say that, Command L, separate that out, move that over. You can show that the dog bone lost way faster.
Worried about the dog bone.
Shoot, the dog bone broke.
And we'll do text lays. Yeah, there we go.
About the dog bone.
Shoot, the dog bone broke. Now I made it.
See that? We got dead audio. I want the story with text to be a standalone thing. I want the video, the thing you're looking at, to be its standalone story. And I want the audio, if you were to close your eyes and listen to it, even though half the people don't even have audio on, that the audio is its own story and doesn't feel like it's dragging. So let's scoot this back a little and review where we're at. Now, I do want to say that I like the fact this was edited, I believe, purely in the order that I delivered it. Almost every time I give a short, I have either scripted it like on site or before I even started filming. There's not a lot of flexibility that needs to happen with shorts. With long episodes, it's an entirely different game. You are pulling a story out of something that may not even have a story. But these shorts, just you put the stuff in the order in which I say it. How I film it is what makes this easy or hard.
This would break about 14 kilonewtons. And a quick draw is rated for 22 kilonewtons. Now if I clip...
Well, I want to get rid of that eternity there.
Newton. And a quick draw is rated for 22 kilonewtons. Now, if I clip this in a basket shape where this is the climber and this is the blayer, which one will be stronger? I'm actually worried.
Okay, that another eternity.
I'm actually worried about the dog bone.
Shoot, the dog bone broke. Now I made it beefy. Broke.
Done talking.
Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope.
Another eternity. And when I cut out all these 16ths of a second, they add up to many, many seconds. I want to time that with the break. So right there, drag that over.
Hey, I broke the right thing.
Hey, I broke the right thing. Could be right there. And that could go there. And I might want this audio up.
Hey, I broke the right thing.
And we could emphasize there's a break. The number goes away. There we go. Just so I can see it up here. Cool.
Actually break the rope. Hey, I broke the rope. I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope. Now I made it beefy so
So
we can actually break the rope.
So we can actually break the rope. That actually could, maybe we'll use that over there, but I want this over here because right now, visually, this is really boring visually. You're taking, oh, that actually might need to be over the number. Let's see here.
Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope. I made it.
We'll do text in a minute.
Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope. That's
Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4 eternities that don't need to be there.
Bone that I clipped it to. Now when a rope is in a U shape, I get almost double as when I pull straight to straight. You can get all of your dynamic ropes at hownotto.com.
There's 1 eternity there and 1 eternity there.
Pull straight to straight. You can get all of your dynamic ropes at hownotto.com.
Now, I don't mind having some extra here because when I hit the O button, I need a little space there because you can see it doesn't, you risk, if it's like this, going into a black frame. So at the very end, right there would have been perfect. That's the way it would have been. So this is the one I'm actually going to use. So let's tweak it from a text perspective. What I like is this is, I believe, in the order in which I filmed. Now let's look at text as a story. Is it telling the story if the audio is off? We're not going to turn the audio off for it, but we want to make sure it's right. Straight dynamic rope breaks at 14 kN. That's a lot of words, but it's left on the screen long enough for somebody to read it.
If I pull 8 to 8, this would break about 14 kilonewtons. And a quick draw is rated for 22 kilonewtons. Now,
and this is short, easy to understand fact. If you wanted to make it easier, equals. And if you want to be not so dogmatic, 22 kilonewtons. But because you've already established that it breaks, so.
Is rated for 22 kilonewtons. Now, if I clip this in a basket shape.
This is where the question of the video comes to play. Which one is stronger? You have to ask a question or it doesn't have a story and hook. Which one is stronger? That's why they would stay set up like this. It's because it's on the screen so long, I can add that extra line.
Now, if I clip this in a basket shape where this is the climber and this is the blayer, which one will be stronger? I'm actually worried about the dog bone.
Shoot, the dog bone broke. Now I made it beefy so we can actually.
So this is where I left both of these on here. I like having the number up here because I want to keep her moving. But we're going to bring this down. Not Dyneema. I don't, it's this. Let's try again, maybe.
Bone broke. Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the.
Maybe that. And because that test is long, that's long, then
made it beefy so we can actually break the rope.
No, that looks weird.
Made it beefy so we can actually break the rope. That's all.
Now, the thing with making these edits, it's a tempo. It's 1 1 2 2 1 2 2 2 1 2 2. You got to like change the scene at like every second to keep short attention spans happy. So, but you got to leave it on the screen long enough. So this is left on the screen long enough, and that's left on the screen enough. But it's changing. It's changing. There's a word on there now. A word leaves. The word leaves, and then you're trying to understand that it broke. And so that's a lot for a brain to just capture. That's what this is supposed to look like.
Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope. That's awesome.
And because you just pummeled them, then you just kind of let that hang. You don't have to have text on everything, so that's good on that part.
At almost 28 kilonewtons, this would have been stronger than any dog bone.
Than any dog bone. So stronger is the emphasized word. And like and it's by itself.
Awesome.
At almost 28 kilonewtons, this would have been stronger than any dog bone that I clipped it to. Now, when a rope is in a U shape, I get almost double as when I pull straight to straight.
Okay, so I changed it to U shape is about 200% versus straight. It's a little bit less characters to read.
Clipped it to. Now, when a rope is in a U shape, I get almost double as when I pull straight to straight.
And it's a little bit more, you'll remember it more since there's it's, I think, easier to see.
You can get all of your dynamic ropes at hownotto.com.
And the ending there is good. This is creeping into the not safe zone. It's fine.
Is when I pull straight to straight. You can get all of your dynamic ropes at hownotto.com.
So this adjusted is the winner. This is the thing that I'm actually going to post. So my version is 32 seconds and the original version was 45 seconds and there's no information missing. It's just more compressed. Let's watch it from the top.
If I pull 8 to 8, this would break about 14 kilonewtons. And a quick draw is rated for 22 kilonewtons. Now, if I clip this in a basket shape where this is the climber and this is the blayer, which one will be stronger? I'm actually worried about the dog bone.
Shoot, the dog bone broke. Now I made it beefy so we can actually break the rope. That's awesome.
At almost 28 kilonewtons, this would have been stronger than any dog bone that I clipped it to. Now, when a rope is in a U shape, I get almost double as when I pull straight to straight. You can get all of your dynamic ropes at hownotto.com.
I think it's important to have continuity on a channel. I have seen some channels when I binge watch their stuff where it feels different because they have different hosts or different editors, but you can see that there are large teams out there where the continuity is pretty consistent. So in this channel, I'd want to make sure that we have the same flavor throughout, which the key one is helpfulness, and then the next is concise. And we are telling a story via text, maybe even different or supplemental to what we say, which is maybe supplemental to what we show. And when you add those three layers together, it's, I believe, why people are watching our content more often than not, 100,000 views per short. So this is hopefully helpful if you are trying to edit for us, or you are running a YouTube channel yourself and you are looking at tips and tricks or how to give feedback to your editors, because I believe that's the only way somebody is going to learn how to do it your style. Regardless of your situation, I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching.